Hello and welcome to your full moon video for the full moon in Gemini and the nakshatra of Mrigasira, which takes place on the 6th of December 2014. Let's talk a little bit about what Mrigasira is all about, because that's going to help us to have an understanding of the tonality of this full moon and why you're going through a period in your life where you feel like something that you were dissatisfied with once before is being reworked and revamped and looked at from a completely different perspective and one of wider and greater awareness. Now, Mrigasira itself deals with new beginnings, but these new beginnings come on the tail end of dissatisfaction or confusion that comes from cataclysm, some sort of separation, some sort of difficulty, challenge, or even just a state of dissatisfaction. Following upon this energy, there's an opportunity for a new way of relating to something or looking at something. So the idea here is that something falls apart, but there's an opportunity to put things back together again in a completely new way. Mrigasira is ruled by Mars. And the thing about all the nakshatras that are ruled by Mars is there will always be a tone of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction which leads to willful change, creating change. And it's no different in relation to Mrigasira. One of the best ways to understand what particular nakshatras or lunar mansions, as they're also known, but one way of understanding what a particular nakshatra is all about is through mythology, because mythology always has several layers of meaning, which will provide a deeper understanding of something, whatever it is that the myth is all about. Okay, and it's also a very brief story which you can relate to, which will unlock that meaning for you within your consciousness. So I thought I would share with you a little story which relates to the nakshatra of Mrigasira. And that relates to the moon and Jupiter. Now the moon mythologically, in Vedic mythology, known as Soma in this instance, and Jupiter, known as Brihaspati. Jupiter in Vedic mythology is the priest of the gods. Okay, and also Jupiter's wife, which is known as Tara. Now there's a deeper meaning that's implied in all this, and I'll touch on the tonalities of that already, just so you have a deeper understanding. The moon relates to reflection. The moon reflects the light of the sun. So it's reflection. Its job is always to reflect something. But it's not the sun itself, which the sun is indicative of the soul. The moon is related to our consciousness. Okay? Now, Jupiter is about expansion, growth, the integration of wisdom. He's the priest of the gods, but also on many levels, he's the teacher of the gods as well. So he expounds wisdom. Now, Tara, interestingly enough, is also another way to say star, and it relates to the nakshatras, and nakshatra is really related to the word Tara itself. Okay, so the story goes that the moon became infatuated with Jupiter's wife. Okay, and under the pretext of getting Jupiter to start his rituals earlier than usual, the moon convinced Jupiter to leave home. And once Jupiter left home, the moon kind of decided that he was going to sneak in. And as such, he ended up seducing Tara and eloped with Jupiter's wife, basically. Now, Jupiter, upon returning home, I'm going to tell the story first, and then we'll go back over some of the meaning. Jupiter, upon returning home, discovered that, Tara was gone. So he went and sought out the moon and sought out Tara and found out where Tara was. And basically a war ensued between Jupiter and the moon over Tara. And Soma refused to give Tara back to Jupiter, and Tara was reluctant to go back to Jupiter. And you'll find out why here in a moment. But basically, the gods had to intervene because this war in the heavens became so great that, that there was danger of mass destruction because of it. So the gods intervened and got the moon to give Tara back to Jupiter. But it was discovered that Tara was pregnant. And can you guess who Tara was pregnant with? Tara was pregnant with Mercury. And the story goes that Jupiter found Mercury so charming that he decided that he was going to father the child himself, even though it came from another marriage. Okay, now we're not going to get into the moralities or immoralities here. It's just a story in order to expound meaning upon the situation, give you a deeper level of understanding. So let's kind of dissect that. Take it apart and look at it. So again, we're dissecting it under Mrigasira, so that kind of fits, huh? Okay, so the moon is consciousness. It's our power of reflection. It's our ability to take the light of the soul and integrate it in our consciousness. Now, the moon moves through all the nakshatras over the course of a lunar month. And the nakshatras, really, their purpose within astrology is to grow consciousness. They grow consciousness in a specific way. So the moon reflects upon the energies of each of these nakshatras, and growth occurs as a result of this. Okay, so there you have the moon and Tara. Okay, then you have Jupiter, who is also the husband of Tara, or on one level, the husband of nakshatras. He's about expansion and growth. He helps that consciousness to integrate the meaning of the nakshatras of the lunar mansions once there's been the reconciliation. So there's the concept of our own personal consciousness, but somewhat separated from the soul. And then there's divine consciousness, and there's a war that goes on between them, isn't there? Until we find that balance and there can be a reconciliation and an agreement so that consciousness can grow. And through which faculty does that consciousness grow? Through intellectual understanding, right discernment, right understanding, acceptance, all of which are qualities of Mercury. So there you go. You have the entire meaning of this nakshatra, which is dissatisfaction with the present course of events, but an understanding ensues that offers the opportunity for deeper growth and a new approach to an old situation. Now, that's what's going on with this full moon in one area of your life, and tying in with it and the energy of the full moon is a widening of vision, which gives you a deeper understanding of yourself. Okay? Now, in connection with this full moon, we've also got a couple of days earlier a harmonious angle that was formed from the Sun to Uranus. And on the same day as the full moon, I'm recording the day before, so it will be tomorrow on the 6th, you've got Mercury forming the same harmonious angle with Uranus. Now, there's a lot of power that's involved in that aspect as well, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so that empowers Mercury's capacity to bring further energy into the situation. And Mercury also forms a harmonious angle with Uranus, and Uranus is in a section of Aries that's called Revati. Revati is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is in Jyeshta, which is also ruled by Mercury. So understanding, wisdom. So let's take a look at what Jyeshta is all about, because this is going to tie into that too. Jyeshta is the widening of perspective that comes into being from an ability to step back from a situation and see it in clarity. Jyeshta means the eldest. On one level, that relates to wisdom, but it's wisdom that leads to power, strength, and will to overcome a difficult situation. Okay, Uranus is in Revati. Revati marks the end of one phase of creation, and the beginning of the next phase has not yet started. So it tends to indicate a state of limbo. Now, there's a lot of sensitivity that's associated with Revati in this case because of the area of Revati that Uranus is occupying. It's very watery. and it will trigger a lot of sensitivities. But what has to happen in order for there to be progress is those sensitivities need to be integrated, not avoided, not ignored, but not also allowed to rule the mind and control the mind and keep the mind from seeing things in greater perspective, right? There we have it in a nutshell, an understanding, a breakthrough, something that comes from out of the blue, a la Uranus style, right? And allows us to explore opportunities for the future, Mercury and Sagittarius style. It's going to take some flexibility, Moon and Gemini, and the ability to take something old apart and really just kind of dissect it and go, what is not working right here? I think that's just going to happen naturally for you, and put it back together again in a new way with a deeper understanding, offering you greater potential for the future. That's going to do it for your full moon video for the 6th of December 2014. If you'd like a little bit more information on how the full moon will affect you personally or any other astrological aspects of the month, or even if you're just interested in having an answer to an important pressing question because, hey, in the background we've got Uranus squaring Pluto, and we all know that can be a little bit intense, okay? But I do have a vast range of astrological services that are available through the astrological services link, which is up here, but also on the homepage of my website, there's a link to it from there under astrological services. In addition, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page yet, you might consider doing so in order to receive regular updates. That's going to do it for this full moon video until 2 weeks from now when we have the new moon, which will be in Capricorn. I do hope that you'll take very good care of yourself and very deeply, vastly, and profoundly enjoy this holiday season. Take care.